Illinois Public Media News, this is 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. It's Friday, November 8th. Coming up, a conversation with the artist Vicki Bennett, also known as People Like Us. Bennett is coming to the Spurlock Museum in Urbana for a performance that explores themes of infinity, knowledge, and metaphors. More on that story in just a few minutes, but first, these headlines. For the first time in decades, Champaign County voters elected a Democrat as coroner. Deputy Coroner Lori Brower defeated Republican incumbent Steve Thuney. IPM's Jim Meadows has more.
Brower takes over as coroner December 1st. One of her goals is to formalize how the office works, from its relations with other organizations to its day-to-day operations.
We have no written policies in the office. It's really hard to know how to do a specific task if it's being done differently by everyone.
Brower says the changes will help repair what she has called a broken culture in the coroner's office and allow it to focus more on the families of the deceased. With Brower's election, all countywide elected offices in Champaign County will be held by Democrats. I'm Jim Meadows, IPM News.
A somber Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says he'll continue to push back against federal policies he says are a threat to, quote, common Illinois values. Alex Degman reports.
The Democratic governor says he ran for office in part to counteract Donald Trump, and he says he'll continue working toward a state-level agenda that protects Illinois' vulnerable populations, like immigrants, people of color, and LGBTQ folks. Pritzker invoked his happy warrior label to explain.
I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me.
Pritzker says he'll work with the Trump administration when needed, but says his record is clear when it comes to standing up to Trump. What's more unclear is Pritzker's future. He says it's too early to talk about whether he'll seek a third term in 2026. I'm Alex Degman.
Mahomet Seymour voters have defeated the school district's latest attempt to pay for a new elementary and junior high, according to unofficial election results. IPM's Emily Hayes has more.
It would have cost Mahomet homeowners $320 more a year for a $100,000 home. Miranda Apperson is a mother of four in Mahomet Seymour schools. She didn't vote on the referendum, but she opposes it.
I think it's good that they're trying to improve the schools, but I think the biggest thing was the cost of it. I mean, if they could do something about what it's going to do to cost us with the taxes and everything, it would probably be something more reasonable.
This was the third attempt in 2 years to address school overcrowding through a bond referendum. I'm Emily Hayes with Illinois Public Media.
Illinois women's basketball tipped off their season last night. IPM student reporter Jacob Stutz has more.
It wasn't an orthodox, easy non-conference game to start the season for Illinois women's basketball. Number 19, Florida State came to Champaign, riding a 70-point victory over North Florida. But that didn't seem to faze the Illini. Illinois jumped out to a 42-25 lead, but FSU didn't go down without a fight, cutting the lead to as little as 5 in the third and within 7 with 1 minute to play. But the Illini responded as they did all game, finishing off an 83-74 win. Head coach Shauna Green spoke on how the team responded.
Basketball's a game of runs. We knew that they were going to make a run. I always just felt there was a calmness and poise to us, even when stuff started to get a little chaotic.
Next up is a matchup against Marquette at home this Sunday at 7 p.m., where Illinois will raise their WBIT championship banner. Jacob Stutz, IPM News.
Still to come, a conversation with the artist Vicki Bennett about her performance coming to the Spurlock Museum in Urbana on Monday. But first, meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your forecast.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your IPM News forecast for Champaign-Urbana. Today, look for mostly sunny skies with a high of 61 degrees and a northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 38 degrees, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain late in the day and a high of 60 degrees, southeast wind 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, cloudy with rain likely and a low of 50 degrees, south wind 10 miles per hour. And for Sunday, partly cloudy with a high of 65 degrees and a southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour.
Next time on the 21st show, our Friday roundtables and the continued aftermath of the 2024 election in Illinois and across the country. We'll catch up on key results and get the latest national updates from our Washington correspondent, Linda Kenyon. I'm Brian Mackey, and that's next time on the 21st show. Join us.
You're listening to 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. The 1941 short story, The Library of Babel, tells the tale of a library with every work that has existed and that ever will exist. The story focuses on the librarian struggling to find meaningful text in the endless collection of books. Vicki Bennett, also known by the artist name People Like Us, was inspired by this story to create her own performance piece by the same name. Bennett is coming to the Spurlock Museum in Urbana on Monday, November 11th for a performance and talkback of her latest work that explores themes of infinity, knowledge, and metaphors. I spoke with Bennett yesterday about her work.
It reflects the process of searching through information in order to work out what you're doing as a process and also to finish it as a product. So the library, we call it Babel here, you call it Babel. It's funny because I've just learned that I've been calling it Urbana and it's Urbana.
You can call it Urbana. You can call it whatever you want.
Okay. So the Library of Babel is a book by Borges, and it's all about navigating an endless library where every possible combinations of words and language, including nonsense, exist. So in theory, it's got everything in it, the library, but because it's got everything in it, it's impossible to navigate because it's got everything in it. And there's something about that analogy that is like the creative process, not just with art, but searching for what you're trying to do, what you're trying to find, establish, etc. It's really about my creative process and the way that you think about information. And as an artist, I work with pre-existing materials, so samples of audio and moving image. And so I'm working with a library myself of pre-recorded information, which I then repurpose. So I call myself a redirector and a decomposer. So it's about my process of searching for material to find a goal and to find something, to make something to present to the public.
On your website and also just with the description of you as an artist, it says that you do use audiovisual collages. Why did you start using collages? I think that's a pretty unique way of using art, especially in a performative way.
Because I prefer to acknowledge the sources in terms of the ideas and the trail of information that I'm using. I'm acknowledging conceptually actually the sample as being this piece of information. The way that we share our ideas, the way that when we take something in and use it and then give it back out again, it's kind of like breathing, converting, giving back, that there's a constant flow of ideas going on. And I like the ideas of using the sample, the encapsulated archive, as a literal example of the way that we use information, change it, transform it, and give it back out again. And that flow of information is essential to everyone in the same way as a library is.
How did you first get inspired to start working with art, or did you know that art was something that you wanted to pursue as a career?
I don't know about the word career because that might imply that after doing it this amount of time, that I'd actually be making a huge amount of money if you compare me to any other career. But it's as a vocation, I've always known that I wanted to be an artist. When I was a child, I'd make fake radio shows and record things and make tapes, that I'd make all the edits in the tapes. And I've been doing collage since I was a teenager. So it's always been something in me. And also my philosophical and inquiring nature fits in with that as well. So it's always been the way that I think. There's no choice in it. It's a vocation. It's not something I chose. It chose me.
Is there anything specific that you hope people will take away or interpret from this show?
I think a piece of art works really well if it becomes a dialogue between the artist and the observer and listener. As much as I want to imprint what I've said on it, I like to have it to be a sort of umbrella subject where the person brings themselves to it and the place where they are in time and space and what they know and what they don't. But it doesn't require a certain knowledge in anything. It's kind of like a meditation. You go in, you hopefully immerse and have an immersive experience and come out hopefully feeling elevated.
The screening will be followed by a discussion and include a special guest, Hardy White. The screening and discussion begin at 6 p.m. on Monday, November 11th at the Spurlock Museum in Urbana. That's it for today. 217 Today is produced by Stephanie Mosqueda. Reporting today contributed by Jim Meadows, Alex Degman, Emily Hayes, Jacob Stutz, and Kimberly Schofield. Music by the Kilbourne Alley Blues Band. Reginald Hardwick is our news director. I'm Kimberly Schofield. 217 Today is a production of Illinois Public Media. Thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.